My sister stole my husband after 15 years of marriage, and my parents chose her over me. I had always considered myself lucky. I had a perfect life, a successful career, a beautiful home, and a loving husband. My husband, David 39M, and I had been married for 15 years. We had 2 kids, a dog, and a life that seemed like it couldn't get any better. I thought we were unbreakable. But everything came crashing down when I found out that my sister, Sophie 32F, had been secretly seeing David behind my back. It started with the little things. David's behavior changed. He was distant, always busy with work, and he started coming home late. I didn't think much of it at first. He'd been under a lot of stress at work, and I figured it was just the pressure getting to him. But then I noticed Sophie was spending more and more time with him. At first, I thought it was innocent. After all, they were family. But something in my gut told me that something wasn't right. One night, I came home early from a weekend trip with the kids to find David and Sophie sitting on the couch, looking completely uncomfortable. The tension in the room was palpable. I asked David what was going on, and he just looked at me, his eyes avoiding mine. Sophie, on the other hand, looked like she was about to break down. That's when it happened. Sophie finally broke the silence. "I'm sorry, but I have to tell you the truth. David and we've been seeing each other for months now." My heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. This couldn't be happening. Sophie, my sister, the one I had shared everything with, had been having an affair with my husband. And the worst part? She had been doing it for months. I turned to David, my husband of 15 years. "How could you do this to me?" David didn't speak. He just looked down, avoiding my gaze. My whole body was shaking. I couldn't believe it. How had I not seen this coming? How had they hidden it from me for so long? Then, it got worse. I turned to my parents for support, expecting them to be on my side. But when I told them what happened, they didn't react the way I expected. They were calm. Too calm. "You have to understand, Sophie's been through a lot. She's always felt second to you, and David just made her feel wanted." My mom's voice was gentle, as if she were trying to explain something small, like a simple misunderstanding. My dad added, "We think you should forgive them and try to work things out. They love each other." I couldn't believe it. They were telling me to forgive Sophie, my sister, the one who had been my confidant, my best friend. And to make matters worse, they were telling me to forgive David, the man I had spent half my life with. They weren't picking me. They were picking Sophie and David, the 2 people who had betrayed me. I felt like I was suffocating. The world as I knew it was completely falling apart, and my own family was telling me that I should just accept it. I couldn't. I packed a bag that night and left. I stayed with a friend for a few weeks, but the pain was unbearable. I wasn't just dealing with the betrayal of a marriage, I was dealing with the betrayal of my own sister and parents. Weeks passed, and I tried to talk to my parents. But every time I reached out, they told me I was overreacting. Sophie was struggling, and David had fallen in love with her. It was just the way it was. They couldn't understand why I wasn't supporting them. I didn't speak to them for months. I couldn't. The anger and heartbreak were consuming me. Sophie and David continued their relationship, and my parents, instead of offering me comfort, embraced them. Eventually, I came to terms with the fact that my family was lost. The people I trusted most had turned their backs on me. It's been almost a year now. I've filed for divorce, and I've learned to live without my family. I've focused on rebuilding my life, even though it feels like everything I once knew has been shattered. As for Sophie and David, they're still together. I don't care anymore. But I'll never forget how my sister stole my husband, and how my parents chose her over me. I learned the hard way that sometimes, the people closest to you are the ones who will hurt you the most.